on YouTube? It's your boy Trucker Mike. Back here another video. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I figured I'd, do one today. Yes, I am driving. My phone is up on the wall mount right now. Before we get started here, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe to my channel, hit the subscribe button. If you want to get notifications for every time I drop a video, which hopefully now it'll be on a regular basis, hit that bell. Okay, well, yes, I have had a few jobs since I have been a truck driver. But the one thing I have not done yet, which I've always told myself before I quit driving, I want to run flatbed. So I went out, started looking at different flatbed companies that kind of suit my needs. Being out 3 or 4 weeks at a time just didn't really settle with me anymore. I got a little boy on the way here really soon, so I kind of wanted to be home more often. There really wasn't anything locally where I live at in Kansas City for flatbed, so started looking around, started looking for regional, and came across System Transport, or as most people see it, because there is 3 companies involved with System Transport. It's actually the company itself is called Trans-System. You got System Transport, TWT, which is their refrigerated services, and you also got James J. Williams bulk services, which that's only for people who live on the West Coast. Based out of Spokane, Washington. You guys have probably seen their trucks on the road. Big Blue Kenworths or Peterbilts. Pretty so far, I've been with them for a little while now. Definitely a good company. They, with their regional drivers, you're guaranteed home every weekend or every other weekend, depending on what you want to do. With me, with the holidays going around right now, it's been every other weekend, but I'm trying to go back to being every weekend. The pay is pretty good here. Starting out, I think the lowest pay, it's a sliding pay scale, so the lowest you'll start getting paid is at 44 cents a mile with 0 to 1 years of experience. But it is a sliding pay scale, as I said, so it ranges from low end for the high mile trips is 44 cents, and for the very low trips, I think it's like 151 to 350. You're getting paid 55 cents, and then pretty much spaced out between there. You get your TARP pay, you get everything that most flatbed companies will give you. Trucks are very well maintained. Since I've had this truck, I broke down one time, which is a lot better than say it was Swift. I'm not trying to bash them at all, but at the same point in time, they have screwed me over in the past. I spent most of my time with Swift in the shop, and most of my trucks that I have are pieces of shit. Excuse my language. But overall, so far, my experience here at System Transport has been very well. Another reason why I came over here, there's another YouTuber out here, Trucking with Box. He does a lot of has been doing a lot of videos with flatbed with System. Just go check him out. Definitely, I wasn't afraid. Definitely was not afraid to come do flatbed. I have the strength, I have the ability to do flatbed. So I was like, you know what? Get out there and do it. Yes, do I miss the just driving and sitting back behind the steering wheel? No, I actually don't. Running flatbed, I feel a lot more dry van reefer, that kind of shit, the only thing you're doing is driving a truck, opening doors back to a dock, and that's it. You know, flatbed, you're actually doing something instead of just driving. You know, yeah, for some people, it's a bitch. You know, again, but it is, because none of this shit that we have is light. You know, our tarps are not light. Our tarps weigh between 90 to 100 pounds. You know, it ain't something that, you know, you see like little four-wheelers, cars, or small trucks have little tarps on their trailers that they have. You know, those are nothing compared to the tarps we have here. You know, with a flatbed, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to remember, a lot of things you have to do to make your load secured to where DOT won't stop you. You know, the load I'm hauling right now, a bunch of train parts. 46,000 pounds of train parts. You know, it's nothing light. You know, I think the lightest load I've hauled so far since I've been here was 26,000, and that was a I guess you can say a Skylift. But other than that, it's been nothing but heavy stuff. You know, we haul anywhere from machinery all the way to steel coils, steel plates, steel tubing, aluminum coils, or, you know, there also is, you know, coils that are called slinky coils. There's pretty much wire coils. You know, none of that shit's light, especially when you get a few of them at a time. You know, last load I hauled was a bunch of slinky coils, and that was a 43,000 pound load. So, you know, none of the stuff we have is light. You know, our trailers are Western trailers, spread axle. Like I said before, trucks are mainly Kenworth T680s, T660s, and Peterbilt. They're starting to phase out the 386 models and bringing in the 579s. Some terminals have them, some don't. The terminal I'm based out of only had the T680s, so I got me a T680, which, you know, as you guys can tell, most of my trucks in the past have been Kenworth. You know, I love the trucks, but I wouldn't mind sometime getting a Peterbilt. So, if my company has seen this video, you know, Peterbilt's the best way to go. But honestly, you know, coming out here, you know, you do a week of orientation up in Spokane. If I said it right, Spokane, whatever. If you live in that area, let me know. You do a week of orientation. If you have more than 6 months of experience and you don't have any flatbed experience, what they'll do is most of that week you'll go the first half of the day, you'll do in-class work, and then the rest of the day you'll be out in the training bay doing flatbed securement. The instructors there are very, very patient, and they will help you out with anything you have. If you have any questions, they will help you. Now, if you have less than 6 months experience driving and no experience in flatbed, what they'll do, they call it their FIT program. They will keep you there an extra week in Spokane, and you will, you'll go out with a trainer that is there locally at the terminal, and you'll do local runs, and you'll be able to get live load experience on how to do everything, which honestly, I wish I could have taken that opportunity, but I felt after I got done with orientation with all the training that I had, I felt confident enough to come out here on my own, which honestly so far has been really well. And if you have less than, between 0 to 3 months experience, you'll go out with a trainer for 5 weeks. Or depending on when your trainer feels that you have the knowledge of what to do, But there is some guys in the fit program that request to go out on the road with a trainer for a little while just to get some more experience, which don't feel bad about it. There was guys in there that had a little bit of flatbed experience, but it's been a while ago, and they even took that training time. You know, it's nothing to be ashamed about. You know, especially if you've been doing nothing but drive in or reefer hauling, just do it. I mean, if your brain is like a sponge and you can do a lot of hands-on stuff, and you are in the fit program, and they can see that you're doing very well, then you won't have to do the fit program. You can just go with the experience and get your own truck. Most of our fleets, fleet manager to driver ratio is like 25 to 1. It is a small company. Most fleets, I think the biggest fleet we have is our over-the-road fleet, and that still only has 200 trucks. But the divisions are split up, so it's a smaller division for each fleet manager. Definitely is a very small company. I think between all three companies combined, there's only like 1,200 trucks on the road for them, if that. You know, they have terminals. A lot of their terminals are based out of the west on the West Coast. You got the main terminal in Spokane. You got one in Seattle. I think Seattle. You got a couple of them. You got one in Vegas, which is I think it's a drop yard. You got Denver. You got 2 or 3 in California. You got one in Phoenix, and then you got the one I'm based out of, Kansas City. It is a very small terminal. It's combined with 3 different other companies. Then you got the one in Gary, Indiana, which is kind of sketchy when you go there at night to get a truck. Very sketchy. But they will definitely take care of you. I mean, I can't vouch for anybody else at different terminals. I know with my dispatcher and my fleet manager and my terminal manager, they always try to get me home when I ask. I mean, I can sit there and say, hey, I need to get home for this. They'll turn me around after I get done the load I'm on, they'll turn me around and come back home. You do get paid for all miles driven, loaded, empty. You do not get paid for bobtail miles, which 95% of the time you'll never bobtail anywhere. You'll always have a trailer. The equipment that we haul Western flat decks, and we also haul step decks, double step, and RGN, which RGNs are we don't have a lot of RGN trailers. A lot of those are mainly meant for down south in New Mexico area, because they do haul a lot of oversized freight down there. Yes, I mean, there'll be a lot of times that I'll probably get some oversized loads. We do haul a lot of the big AC units that go on top of big buildings, and those are oversized all over width. Not by much, but anything hanging over your trailer is over with. Honestly, it's just they will give you a lot of knowledge and orientation. It's just all how you process that knowledge is what is going to make you go through orientation or go stay with the fit program and run local up in Spokane. Like I said with me, the only thing I did was I sucked in all the knowledge I could, took pictures, you know. And if I've had any issues on the road, you know, I call the driver assistance line that goes directly to the guys who train you in orientation, and they will walk you through it. But if you sit there and you just don't do anything and call them, they're going to tell you, okay, secure this load, then call us back and send us pictures of knowing what you're doing, and we'll help you out from there. They won't just sit there and tell you how to do it. They don't do that in orientation either. They'll show you one time, like soak that knowledge in, and it's just pretty much a repetitive thing. You got different stations which is pretty much just stacks of flat sheets of aluminum. You'll throw straps over it, go from there, and then you'll also have a tarping station outside. Yes, I mean, I'm serious, outside. And trust me, this time of year, if you go, it is cold as shit, because when I was there, it was like 10 degrees outside, and we were fucking sitting out there, sitting in tarping. So, yes, it sucks ass, but at the same point in time, you know what, if you just keep moving, you won't be that cold. Other than that, you know, if you do give a call to recruiters, ask for Brad McCollum. He is probably one of the best recruiters there. He might seem like he's just fast talking you just to try to get you in the door, but he really isn't. The stuff that he is telling you is the truth. You know, about the pay and all that kind of stuff, home time. You know, if you do decide to go over the road, you know, you pretty much choose your own home time. They're not sitting there telling you, hey, you gotta stay out for this long before you can go home. You know, you can stay out between, I think, over the road, minimum is 14 days out. That's the minimum. So, you know, it's 2 weeks out. You know, it's a lot better than some companies out there requiring you to stay 3 to 4 weeks out on the road. Cough, cough, Tyson. So you can stay out there for 4 weeks at a time. It's bullshit. But, you know, yes, this is another video of just me talking about a job, but at the same point in time, I've been here now longer than I have in most companies I've been with. Yes, I do have a record for jumping jobs. I know it's not the best thing to do in the trucking industry, but at the same point in time, I had my reasons for quitting the jobs I had. I ain't quit just to quit them. I quit because, you know, they say something in they say your recruiter tells you one thing, and you never see that thing after you get out of orientation. You just don't. You know, Swift shit, they'll promise you the fucking moon. They'll promise you, oh, you'll get a fucking brand new truck, and you'll get this, and you'll get that. You'll never see it. I got lucky with a brand new truck, a brand new Volvo, which I never posted a video about it. I got lucky with a brand new Volvo. Didn't even have that truck a week. And I was stuck in St. George, Utah for almost a whole entire week and they refused to give me breakdown pay while I was there. I was sitting there for a week with pretty much no money in a broke down truck. You know, it's not right. You know, and then they send you back home on a fucking Greyhound, which for me, that was a 24-hour bus ride. You know, there's a lot of different ways to travel besides the damn Greyhound. I understand it's a cheaper way to go, but it's the most unsafe way to go. Because during that trip, I got my wallet stolen. You know, people were screwing with me. But you know what? The way Swift treats their employees is not right. Yes, I know there's a lot of guys out there that is with Swift that loves it. That's on you. That's your experience. Don't go off of my experience only. There's a bunch of guys out there that'll tell you the same thing that I'm telling you right now. But don't sit there and listen to guys like us, because, you know, that's just only our experience. That isn't your experience. You know, if you have a better experience than I did at Swift, that's awesome. But just the way they treat some of their employees isn't right. You know, I thought my fiance was going into labor, and the words I got from my dispatcher and my terminal manager, that's not our problem. You know, right then and there, I lost all respect for him. You know, what if that could have been my son being born? I had no clue. So, don't go off of my experience only. I'm going to tell you this right now. Just don't go off my experience. It's my experience for a reason. But the one thing I got to tell the drivers, the people who do watch my channel that are interested in driving or thinking about doing it, go with a company that you like. Don't go to a company that's going to sit there and sweet talk you into coming to their company. That's what happened with me with Swift. They sweet talked me. Yes. The academy was awesome. They taught me a lot of shit. But if I could do it over again, I would have started with system. Yeah, a lot of people think, oh, why would you start out with flatbed? Flatbed's a very rewarding company, really rewarding area of trucking. It really is. Some people don't think that. Some people do. Some people can't do flatbed because they don't, they just don't. They don't think they don't have the right mindset. You have to have a really good mindset going into flatbed. They make you do a physical abilities test, which is, for me it was easy. I did weights when I played football in high school. I lifted weights a lot, so to me all that stuff really wasn't that bad. You just lift crates with weights in it. You lift a tarp up onto a shelf. It's really not that bad. It's pretty simple. But there's some people out there that just can't do it. You'll do a push and pull and grip test to see how much you can grip, push, and pull. The minimum is 100 pounds. I was well past that, so I didn't have an issue. But then there's some people that just didn't pass it. A lot of it is because their heart rate, because they do have a heart rate monitor on you when you're doing that, to check your heart rate, check your blood pressure, and all that kind of stuff while you're doing it, just to make sure that you can actually do it without passing out or dying. But if you really want to try to go to flatbed, yes, I know, especially with Maverick, yes, they pay their drivers very, very well. That's one good thing about them, especially with students. But if you want to get treated like family and you want to get treated like you're not just a number, because with System, they never, anytime I call my driver manager or dispatcher, I never get asked, what's your truck number? The moment I say, hey, this is Michael Evans, they know exactly who I am right off the bat. Your driver managers will become your friend. Like, just don't do something that, that will make them mad. Which, with mine, it takes a lot to make him mad. Just fair warning, it takes a lot more to make him mad. So, but I just don't push over him. Like, he's definitely not a pushover though. Like, yes, he's new, but at the same point in time, he knows what he's talking about. He used to be a driver. He knows what we go through out here, and he will help you out no matter what. But let's talk about that. Actually, right now, I am actually in Utah. I actually crossed over the border in Utah here a little while ago. I'm heading out to Barstow, California, drop off all these train parts, because why not? I mean, those alone for me to take is 2,920 miles round trip. I'm doing a round trip load, picking up out of, going to the BNSF yard there in Barstow, dropping this stuff off, pretty much picking up the same exact things and bringing it back to Kansas City. It's a good load. It gives me a lot of good miles for that paycheck. Because the one thing your driver managers will ask you whenever you start this company, do you feel comfortable with running this area? Do you feel comfortable with running this area? They asked me because most of the time when I was over the road, I ran West Coast. I've ran west of the Rockies. I've ran all up and down the 5. I've ran 80. I've ran 70, 40, 20, 10. I've ran every single major interstate you can run in this past year. Yes, I know for some of the older guys out there, they ran it so many times they can do it with their eyes shut. But in my first year, I actually hit. If I calculated it up right, with all the miles I've driven in this past year, I have now hit right around 100,000 miles, safe miles. No accidents, safe free miles. And I've ran through some sketchy areas. I've backed into some sketchy places. I've driven through blizzards. Well, somewhat through a blizzard. At some point I had to shut down because I couldn't see shit. I've ran through the Rockies. I don't know how many times I've ran down up and down 80 through Wyoming. When you start over the road with a company, some places when they say over the road, it's only a certain area. With Swift, it's all 48 states. So yeah, I got a lot of experience in driving all 48 states. I haven't seen all 48 states. I have been 44 out of 48. I have not delivered in 44 out of 48 states, but I have driven through and I've experienced driving through 44 out of the 48 states. And honestly, I can tell you now, probably the worst time I've ever had when I've been over the road this past year has been my second day of driving ever. That was back almost a year ago, when I was in the Trucker States. Shout out Trucker States. Definitely hit me up sometime, Trucker States. I'll be in Vegas. I'll be in Vegas soon. But second day of driving was my scariest day of driving yet. We were in Wyoming, and there was just blizzard conditions, and yeah, it scared the shit out of me. The trailer wanted to try to jackknife itself. You know, we saw a bunch of people, you know, roll over on the side of the road. Like, I witnessed this. You know, the one thing you always have to remember when you're driving in wintertime on 80, 70, or anywhere that has mountains, drive for the conditions. Don't drive. If the speed limit says 65 and it is a fucking blizzard, don't drive 65. Because 95% of the time you're going to hit a piece of black ice, you're going to hit some snow, and you will roll. Either you're going to roll or you're just going to end up wrecking. And you really don't want to do that. I don't think, you know, people out here with families, I don't think your family wants to get a phone call saying that you know, you weren't driving for conditions and you killed yourself. I don't think you guys want that to happen. You have to drive for conditions. You know, I understand this video is going to be very long, but I'm just giving you guys a lot of knowledge that I haven't been posting videos. I want to give you guys some good knowledge. But honestly, you know, out here right now where I'm at in Utah, there isn't snow. Man, nothing like it's even snowed here, even close to me recently. You know, I'm on the 70 right now out here. Just came through Colorado on the 70. There are some areas on the 70 that it's gotten a lot of snow, so just try to take it slow a little bit. But yeah, honestly, with my experiences on the road, there has been some good experiences, there's been some bad experiences. There's been some areas that I would love to see that I haven't been able to see yet, that I actually might be able to see now. Hence meaning Vegas. I have been close to Vegas, I have just not been through Vegas yet, which I actually get to do that today. But, you know, you can't just sit there and think, oh, well, I'm just going to drive a truck and get to see the whole entire United States. You know, there's a lot more shit that goes into, you know, driving a truck over the road than just seeing places. You know, it's still a job. You still got to do work. You know, people think, oh, I can sit there and, you know, shut down for 10 hours and get drunk. And you can do that. You just better hope that DOT officer doesn't roll through the truck stop and see you stumbling out to your truck. They're going to pop you right then and there for public intoxication. I've seen it happen at truck stops. I've seen it happen. I've also seen it to where drivers will bring back beers to their trucks and sit there in the front seat with their blinds open and sit there and drink a beer. Like, that's idiotic. Honestly, very idiotic. You know, yes, there's some companies that do allow it. They don't give a shit. But DOT, they don't like that. But honestly, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that, you know, who has encouraged me and has supported me through all my decisions I've made in this past year. You know, as you guys can see, I'm not chewing. I finally have quit chewing. It has been a long road with that. Very long road. Thanks to my fiance, she has helped me out a lot with doing that. But the one thing that I'm going to leave in 2018, not right now, should have been in 2019, is there's some guys here on YouTube that sit there and criticize me because I have jumped jobs. Yes, I understand I have jumped jobs, but I've always bettered myself when I've jumped those jobs to make more money. Yes, the lease purchase programs I went through, yeah, they're a bunch of fucking bullshit. I'll never touch a lease again. Honestly, unless you are so business minded that you know for a fact that you can run that shit and you can run it perfectly and you won't ever go in the hole, then do it. But the one thing is, don't go to the company that sit there and promise you brand new trucks. Because if you get a brand new truck like I did with USA Truck, you will fail. I'm going to tell you this right now. You will fail that lease. It is too much fucking money, and they will screw you in the end. Hirschbach, that was just... They promise you things that they won't give you. Miles, mainly. You know, I sat one time for almost 36 hours waiting for a load. No, sorry. You know, yes, there is some good lease purchase programs out there, but there's some that are just bullshit. If you want to do that, just become an owner-operator. I understand people want to get their feet wet and everything, but if you already know that you're going to be able to do it no problem, you can make a truck payment every week or every month, then just become an owner-operator. Get your own authority and become an owner-operator. You know, I thought about doing that later down the road when my son and my stepson get older. No. I'd much rather be a company driver and have all the benefits of being a company driver than being an owner-operator, because you don't get that shit. Yeah, you can be under a company's authority, but you still won't get the benefits of a company driver. But, you know, the one thing I gotta tell you guys out there that are either coming into trucking or new to trucking, the one phrase I've always heard growing up with my dad and coming out here on the road: keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. You always want to do that. And for people that don't know what that means, don't roll. Pretty much, don't roll. It means keep the body of your truck up and the tires on the ground. But if anybody ever has any questions about system or about trucking in general that you want me to answer, leave a comment down below with your email address or phone number, and I'll definitely get with you. Tell your friends, tell your family, come watch your boy Trucker Mike. I'm gonna start making a lot more videos. I'm gonna try to get some equipment so I can, show you guys, what I do, and show you guys, the steps of, tarping a load or securing a load down. That's my goal in 2019. But always, it's been a pleasure talking with you guys. Keep safe out there, and have a happy new year now. And keep shiny side up, rubber side down.